because we all have higher forms of education, is the imposter syndrome, man. And I connect with it specifically because I felt like once I graduated from FSU, my adequacy wasn't where I felt like it should have been.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like my confidence level was where it should have been. And so going into another program at another PWI, I kind of felt like I was I just kept getting lucky. You know what I'm saying? And for those who don't know what the imposter syndrome is, it's basically a feeling you get when you kind of rise in the ranks, or you obtain some level of success, and you're kind of like waiting to be found out. You know what I'm saying? Like you're sliding through the cracks, and like eventually they're gonna, we got you. You're not as smart as your resume said, like the big words you put in your resume, it was all BS.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and so like just the feeling like at some point, it's gonna catch up to you. Have you all ever like really had to deal with stuff like that?
I just want to add something real quick to that.
Yeah.
When we talk about the imposter syndrome, we're also talking about it in the context of Black people.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like that's a difference that needs to be made.
Yeah.
People who are not Black don't often experience that.
Yeah.
That syndrome.
The entitlement, right? I don't know. I guess my first thought to that is, as I kind of do research and talk to people that have achieved great levels of success, listen to people like, Gary Vee and a lot of motivational speakers, I feel like the greats and the people that maximize their full potential own the imposter syndrome. And by that, I mean, like, nothing is an accident, right? You know what I'm saying? Your success, where you are, it was meant to be, and you're supposed to be there, right? So we would be lying if we didn't say, like, man, like, I know I shouldn't be making what I'm making, doing what I'm doing now. But it's okay to have that thought, but when you dwell on it, I feel like you limit your future success, right? But when you own it, like, I'm supposed to be here, there's no such thing as luck. You know what I mean? I feel like you continue to get lucky, and you continue to get more sooner than you were supposed to get it. So I just feel like the confidence and the ownership, keeps that boat moving. But when you start to dwell and like, damn it, they gonna catch me, then you're gonna get caught. You know what I mean? So, so that's just my thought. But yeah.
I would share his sentiments. I think the exact same thing. I feel like I've always been the imposter. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. I embrace that, and that makes me, wake up excited to go to work. Excited to share who I am with other people. When people look at me, obviously being Black in whatever arena or industry you're in, you're going to get a certain level of attention. People are always going to be looking like, let's see what he's going to do.
Right.
Like, is he going to mess up on this?
Is he going to suck?
Is he going to have any misspelled words in his email? Like, you know what I'm saying? Or
and you think about that when you write them emails.
Absolutely, exactly. Like, you got to check
this.
But what I did was like Antoine AD said, I flipped it and said, you know what, I want to embrace this, I want to have fun with this, and I want to thrive within this arena because there's nobody like me. And just like they're looking at me as the imposter, I'm looking at others as the imposters as well, because it's like, hey, look, like, you've never seen anybody like me, but I've had certain experiences that that you can't relate to. So I'm here for a reason, like you said, and it's not by accident. And you don't have to find out that I'm an imposter. I'm gonna tell you I'm an imposter, but I want to thrive within that arena regardless. And it makes me excited. Every day is an adventure, to say the least, because I want to show out, in that arena. I want to integrate. I want to stand out and be different, and when everybody wears suits, I wear my suit with the handkerchief, a pocket square or whatnot, because I want to stand out. I don't want to be like you all. So yeah, that's my answer.
That's a good point, man. Yeah. So Dan, you mentioned like that the concept is different for Black people, and I completely agree with you. But why would you say it is different for Black folks?
I think that we have to think about like where the imposter syndrome comes from. As a person of color living in the United States, every day you wake up, you have to fight the system, right? So like you wake up every day, you have to think, as a professional, I have to think about how I word my emails. Are my emails going to sound too aggressive? Am I going to be too forward? And I think about just going back to growing up and having to struggle for things. Getting to Florida State and getting to Florida State through the CARE program because I was deficient in math. and like worrying about like, like if I don't make this grade or whatever, am I going to be kicked out?
Big facts.
Like real fast, like making sure that you live up to these expectations, going to like grad school, struggling with professors, people not understanding your experience. So I think it's this years of constantly struggling upstream almost that like makes you feel like you can't mess up in a way that someone who has white privilege might not always feel like that.
And to not confuse that. So like when you talk about like swimming upstream, I think it's important to say that like essentially some people were born swimming in that stream. You know what I'm saying? So like how the way you think about how we define professionalism, it's essentially white culture.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? And so like if you grow up in this culture,
It's
like
just
it's not it is what it is for you, right? And so like being black, you have to learn that. You have to figure out what the nuances are. You know what I'm saying? Like when we first started FSU, first of all I didn't own a suit. My first suit was big, you know what I'm saying? Like I thought it was supposed to be baggy like jeans, you know what I mean? But like so I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just thought that was important to say.
No, it's cool. I think also like what Trey and Twan said earlier, that like bringing your whole self to work every day, like being authentic and being you. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Absolutely. That was gonna be. Go ahead.
No, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But you have to be true to yourself. And I think also like reminding yourself that you're worthy and you deserve to be there is a form of self-care. Like it's a mental state.
Yeah.
And we have to also think about how we also remind other people that they deserve to be in spaces too. So like when you get there as a black person, how are you making sure that the other black person realizes that they deserve to be in that space?
And to your point, you said that sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Absolutely, and that's exactly why when it's not working, and sometimes as black people we feel like we have to conform and start acting as if, how can I say it in the easiest way?
Code switching.
Yeah, exactly. You're acting like you're not yourself, and you're trying to be someone that you really aren't. And then that's what I feel like you become the imposter, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, let me act and act like them and talk like them and try to pretend like them,
accepted, right?
and then you become the imposter. That's when you're the imposter.
That's when shit really get hard.
That's when because you can't keep that up. That's what I learned that the hard way too. Like it's like you can't keep up being fake. So I'd rather be real within myself. And if you don't accept me, I can live with that rather than me being a fake. And then you find out he's an imposter anyways.
Right. Then you be lying.
How many black people have done that? You know what I'm saying?
That reminds me of the old boy from ATL, bro. You know what I'm talking about? You remember that?
Oops.
Remember ATL? The boy was playing tennis, and when the guy found out that he was from the hood, he was basically like putting on the whole time. Then he got found out.
Not sustainable.
That's when it's the flip. You know. So and then I think it goes back to this kind of segues into that glass ceiling as well, right? We're like, okay, we're being ourselves, and then when it comes to being in a position of leadership or management, it's like that's when all eyes are on you. It's like, are we going to take this chance on this different individual,
right?
And, and I still feel like we have to continue to be ourselves, no matter what. If we're not assimilating to them, even if it kind of jeopardizes our leadership, our potential to move up. So,
I get you. I get you. Did you want to add that?
I was just going right to Trey point and Dane point. I feel like the universe and God rewards those that are authentic and those that remain their true self. And by that I mean like you can fake it, you can get a good job, but it's not sustainable. At some point, your boss is gonna stumble up on you when you don't have your suit on. They're gonna find out that you got 10 siblings and all of them not doing too well. Some things come up organically in conversation, but when you're true to yourself, you end up with a team, a job, subordinates that know who you are. Already, there's no surprises in that. That's the sexy thing.
And they respect you. I think they respect you more. They respect you more. They're able to look at you for who you are, and they're going to, and then they can vouch for you. They can't vouch for a person that you're pretending to be. And they don't know when that imposter.
You might get that today. You might not get that
today. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So
that's great. So Terry Crews told. I was
just gonna say that sometimes I feel like people come to work with their authentic selves, but they still feel like an imposter.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it
Like,
happens.
I'm not supposed to be here type
Like, I'm not
situation.
supposed to be here type thing. For example, like, I graduated, I earned my PhD this year.
Congratulations again, by the way.
Thank you, I appreciate that. But like every time someone says Dr. Hutchinson, I still freeze.
Yeah,
For about like 10 seconds, like, like
awkward.
do I have it? Do I not have it? Type thing, and it's just like, it's
That's
weird.
so true.
I don't know why I do that.
But you still do.
But I do that. I still freeze. It's like, it's foreign to me.
Yeah.
You can't explain it.
I can't explain it, even though I know that I worked hard to get here.
Right. And
I know the process that I went through to get here.
Yeah.
But now that I'm here, like, I'm like, all right.
That's an interesting point.
That's
I mean,
real.
I didn't think that you would feel that way because, so like, being in the position of me being able to like watch you, like working your dissertation every day, coming home, like seeing the smoke coming out your ears, bro. Like, I got to witness, you know what I'm saying, like the work that you put in. And so to hear that you feel that way is very interesting. But like, I imagine a lot of other people feel that way too.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Another one, last example, just to your point, just to drive home the point. So all the managers that report to me, all 7 of them are older than me. Anytime one of them calls me boss, I think they're being funny, they be dead serious, like, yeah, sure thing, boss, and it's like, I'm really their boss, but it's like,
Really their boss,
nigga, stop playing with me, man, but it's just like, it still like freezes me, like, oh shoot, you know what I'm saying, like, stop playing, but
what rings in my ears is like, to thine own self be true. So Terry Crews gave a story about how, I don't know if you ever seen The Longest Yard when he played with Adam Sandler, a little football movie, whatever. He was talking about how when he went for that role, Cheeseburger Eddie role or whatever, like the role was written for like a 400-pound like fat guy.
Yeah.
And so when he went to trial for the role, basically what ended up happening was he went in and played himself, you know what I'm saying? And like the writers changed the entire role to fit him, you know what I'm saying? So like a lot of times we look at things when we try to like mold ourselves to fit into that space. Whereas sometimes the universe will put you in a position where you can be yourself and that space will conform to you instead.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So like being able to appreciate like the different perspectives that we as African Americans bring, or Black folks period, bring to the table, and showing maybe a company or an organization period that like you could benefit from me being just me and you didn't even know it. You know what I'm saying? You're welcome.